Trump lauds North Carolinians who voted early amid post-hurricane chaos. Swannanoa, North Carolina, standing on the silt-covered ground amid piles of debris, former President Donald Trump said the aftermath of Hurricane Helene left him awestruck. So did the grid of North Carolinians who cast a record-breaking number of early votes as they continued grappling with the storm's aftermath. In response to a question from the Epoch Times at an October 21st news conference near Asheville, North Carolina, Trump shared his message to those early voters. "The first thing I'd say is, we love you, because that's really something special, really, for them to do that."
Mr. President,
yes.
If you could speak directly to those voters who lost everything and then went to the polls and voted, what would you say to them?
Well, the first thing I'd say is, we love you, because that's really something special, really. For them to do that, I was surprised. I figured we'd have 50%, 30% of the vote. We had record votes compared to the last elections, last presidential elections even. But compared to any election, and you know, you're reporting on it also. I think you were probably surprised like I was. But I would just say you're special people. These are special people. These are people with heart. These are people that love your state. They love our country. Very special people. I would have been, I mean, honestly, I would have been happy if we had 50%. How can it be possible? And these tend to be Trump areas. I mean, not to get too political, but they tend to be very Trump areas. And that the people would come out like that, I think it's a great sign.
How does this devastation compare to what you've seen previously?
Well, I've seen some pretty bad devastation. I've seen the tornado devastations, and they're pretty incredible. This is much more spread out, but you would see a line like it was cut by a razor blade of a tornado that went through an area, and it was literally a foot left, it was perfect, and a foot right, it was down to dirt, big trees ripped out and thrown, you know, miles away. The power of the tornado. So I've seen that, but that was a much narrower thing, but you certainly didn't want to be in the way of it. I've seen trailer parks where they were there and very nice, and they were literally, there wasn't a thing left. The pipes were ripped out of the ground. So I've seen some pretty bad ones. I've seen some really bad ones, yeah.
More than 353,000 North Carolina voters cast ballots on October 17th, breaking the state's record for the first day of early voting, elections officials said. More than 1 million votes have been cast in North Carolina despite widespread damage. Among the state's 100 counties, 25 are declared disaster areas. I mean, they lost their house and they're standing outside, voting, Trump said, adding, "These are special people. These are people with heart." Trump, who seeks the presidency in the November 5th election, also acknowledged, "We want them to vote, but we want them to live and survive and be happy and healthy. Because this is really a tragedy." Helene, a powerful Category 4 storm, hit Florida on September 26th. Then it traveled northward into other states, including North Carolina. The storm caused widespread flooding, landslides, and power outages and deaths. At least 95 lives were lost in North Carolina alone. Business owners, community leaders, and onlookers said that Trump's visit to their small, hard-hit community and his commitment to continuing to help buoyed their spirits as they face a months-long recovery. "The American people are with you all the way," said Trump, the Republican nominee opposing Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris, as they each vie to become the nation's 47th president.